All right, guys, good afternoon and welcome. Certainly, as you know, a ton of momentum and excitement and energy around here as we get ready for game week finally, right? After a great offseason, great camp. And so here for questions, so go right ahead.
Mario, where are you on twos and threes and finishing up the depth chart? And I guess how nice of a problem is it that you have or had competition at almost every spot?
You know, I don't think you're ever all the way there, but certainly a ton of progress. We feel a lot better about it. And, you know, some competitions will go all the way up until, you know, the Thursday, Friday of game week. But we do feel very confident in the guys that will be playing. You know, who goes first or who gets how many reps will certainly be determined the next couple of days. But we do feel very confident and comfortable with who's going to be going in and playing for us.
Speaking of comfortable, confident, a game like this when you're the spotlight under the lights, big top 10 matchup, how much do you lean on Carson's experience to soothe things, calm things from the start?
Right, good question. I think when you look at our team, the makeup of our team, particularly the guy snapping the football, to the guy getting the snap, to the guy behind him, to the middle of our defense, the defensive tackles, the linebackers, the safety. The core of our team has experience. And we feel that when you have the type of game experience those guys have, the big moments don't faze you. They came here to Miami to have that opportunity, and Carson, of course, has been in a bunch of those. So he has had a great camp. He is, you know, he doesn't stop preparing like the rest of the team. The culture fit has been perfect. So we're just really, all his focus is on preparation at the highest level he can do it.
With how much waiting that he's been doing since the injury and then coming over and all that to getting into a game, have you seen that itch, that fire, maybe getting a little bit more from him as you get closer to
You know, we're turned up pretty good around here, so, you know, we try to make every day like game day as much as possible. So I think some things naturally get turned up as you get closer and closer to the game, but it's not like a light switch where it's on and off depending on who you're playing, when you're playing, or whatnot. We like to keep that thing on all the time. But his level of professionalism is truly impressive, and it certainly affects other people in a positive way.
Mario, obviously, you know, a long-time rivalry between Miami and Notre Dame. What were your experiences when you played against Notre Dame, and most importantly, was Cleveland Gary down?
Those were awesome experiences, right? You know, growing up, you know, wanting to come to Miami, you know, games like this had a lot to do with that, you know. We know the answer to that question, so we'll keep the focus on the 2025 Canes and Fighting Irish, but I appreciate that.
You indicated that you got out of camp pretty healthy. How much of that can you attribute to Irv Young and his program in the summer, or is it just kind of luck?
Probably a little bit of everything. You know, the thing that we've certainly reduced are the number of soft tissue injuries, so we've been able to just maintain a healthier team overall for the most part. I think guys are maturing as well. They recognize and understand the importance of nutrition, of rest. Like sleep is actually important. You know, putting down that phone, that blue light, getting off the game system for some extra rest, getting over and getting some hyperbaric chamber treatment and some red light, all that other stuff that we never had, right? The old ice tubs used to do the trick, if that. So, but I think our guys understand that. I think our medical staff, our sports science staff, and our strength staff together have worked diligently to put our guys in the best spot they could be in physically.
How do you handle the uncertainty that always comes with week one? I mean, they have a lot of guys back from a really, really good football team, obviously, but you don't know exactly what it's going to look like. And I'm sure Marcus Freeman saying the same thing about you guys. How do you handle the unknowns?
Well, a lot of notes, you know, certainly. That's why I like to have this area kind of clear with all the notes we have on these guys. It's an excellent football team, right? They got to the national championship, and the way they got there was probably the most impressive thing, because the resilience needed to overcome an early season loss like they did and go on, I believe, a 10-week, 12-week winning spree is impressive. And they did it with physicality, playing violent football, playing team football, but they have dynamic players everywhere. And they've made people pay the price. They play great complementary football. They lead the country in forcing turnovers. They lead the country in block kicks. And their conversion rate off of those turnovers and blocks have been off the charts. They are just, they're loaded with experience, big jumbo athletes, physical guys up front on both sides of the ball. They returned 11 starters, and the portal guys they got were starters at other places. So in terms of game one, what to expect, you prepare your players to play within your system as best you can, and you dig deep into the stops of their coordinators, where they've been, right? They had to change at the coordinator spot, but they've had great success there. But you have to tap into Rutgers and Texas and Wisconsin, right? You got to do your homework on LSU on offense as well, and some of the things they did. There's plenty of stuff and there's plenty of time. So what you don't know and the uncertainty, you have all summer to find your best way to figure it out and prepare your team.
Mario, with Ruben Bain, just what changes have you seen going into his junior season, and differences, or what you kind of expect out of him?
Ruben's approach to the offseason was awesome. He made it a point to get down to 275 pounds and lean up, become more explosive, and stay healthy. Last year, obviously, we lost him, I think, play number 2, and didn't get him back till game 5. And as you saw, as a freshman, he was one of the more impactful freshmen in the country. This system allows him to play fast and free. He's extremely intelligent. He's able to coach the guys around him as well. And his effort levels, his levels of leadership and just culture have really taken another step. We've seen it in practice on a daily basis, and we expect an awesome year out of Ruben Bain.
Mario, what's the energy you're seeing from the players as they switch now to game week prep?
Again, I think here it's so competitive, or it's becoming more and more competitive to the point where, when we're playing out there, it feels like a game. It feels like, and they want to make it that way. For our players, the goal is to make it so that the best team we play all year is the team that we face on our practice field, okay? And do you ever really get there? You never know. You just pour every ounce of effort and every ounce of preparation into that. So you see that on a daily basis. And, yesterday we had a chance to practice at Hard Rock, and it was great to be there. And the intensity levels were high, but they've been high all along. And honestly, as the season goes on, that's what we expect out of our players. That's another step for Miami, right? We talk about taking steps every year. One step is to make sure that we don't treat one opponent up here and lower those expectations and standards for the next one. So hope that answers the question.
I really anticipate the atmosphere will be like. Dan talked a bit about season tickets and the crowd and the orange out and all those things. But what do you anticipate Sunday night's going to be like?
It should be as maniacal as a Miami game should be. I think there's a lot of us here that have experienced those games from the Orange Bowl to Hard Rock and whatnot, and we expect it to be as loud and as wild as it could possibly get. And we encourage that tremendously.
Having a player-led team is critical to success of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say has kind of emerged as your vocal leaders coming out of camp?
I think Akeem Mesidor has taken the biggest step. I think him and Inez Cooper, they play off each other. Now they're always trying to knock each other around. One's at guard, one's at end, but you end up colliding, right? And to that point, I think it's worth pointing out the benefit of having great alumni. A guy like John Vilma, who lives, locally, who had an opportunity to address the team, and the importance of making it a player-led team, of the accountability that comes with that, and what it really means on a daily basis. Not by name, not by title, not by post or tweet, but what it really demands and commands of a team that's led by its own players. So those two guys really stick out. I think Carson, in a short amount of time, has really shown that. Mark Fletcher has really shown that. Francis Mayanoa has shown that. Ruben has shown that. I think both Wesley and Mo have. Poyser's EP, he's come along in a big-time way. And now you see, guys like OJ, Frederic stepping up as well. So all in all, it's built. It's been building throughout January all the way up until now, and we're seeing some really good returns.
You have a change of kicker, obviously, but not just that, just broadly, how do you feel about where special teams are, how those units are setting up?
We feel good. We feel really good about the kicker. We invested a lot of time and effort into scouting that part, and why we went that direction with a couple of guys and really a third guy battling it out. and we're really close there on making that decision. We feel great about the operation itself, the protection, the snap, the hold. Same thing on the punt team, about the protection, about the coverage that goes with that. Our biggest issue last year with kickoff coverage, right? We allowed 2, and that really hurt us. We won the games, but certainly could have avoided it or prevented us from winning those games. So I think our coverage units, 2 things: better talent, more big runners, big strikers, being able to get down the field, and ball placement. The accuracy of ball placement is critical for that part as well. Our return game, we'll see. We've got some guys that have been taking reps at the different return spots, and they seem capable of certainly helping us get better.
Mario, a lot of talk in the secondary about all the new guys you brought in, but O.J. Frederick, one of your returners who played pretty well last year. What did you see from him last year, and what strides has he made throughout spring and fall camp as he gets ready for year 2?
Yeah, he came in with a lot to prove, and being a big, long, physical guy that can run, we saw what we saw when he was here in camp. I think he surprised, or he took everybody by surprise with the level at which he played at. He's a guy that really can do everything in your system. He can play man coverage, he can play zone, he can play off, he can play force, he can play the nickel spot, play safety. He is a really good tackler. He's a guy that could set the edge as well. Those guys are hard to find, and a guy that's now approaching, he's well over 190, probably between 90 and 200. It makes him that much more of a physical presence.
Ian Radakovich said the team's building your image from the lines on out. Where are you with the lines right now? I mean, you've seen how big these guys are, the progression in the last few years. Are they, are we ready to contend for big play right now?
Where are we with the lines? Certainly, it's looking a lot like I guess where I'm at, I'm tired of praising them a little bit, because that's not what they expect from myself or from our coaching staff. I think because they are self-motivated, they're driven, they're self-starters, and you know what the best part about them is? They let us push them. They let us push them like our coaches pushed us here, where every single day you felt like, man, this is hard. And it's good hard, because every day they're making ground, and every day they're finding ways to break through. So we feel great about them as competitors, as people, as performers. And we also feel great about getting more out of them, and them understanding that there's more in them to give.
Do you have a sense for how this team responds to adversity, or do you find out about that in game 1?
Man, I don't think you close the book on that until the final chapter of the year, quite honestly. So many times a scrimmage, a game, particularly early in the season, it's so easy to jump to conclusions, but you know what? Fatigue will set in, right? Injuries set in. Depth chart moves, right, kick in as well, and all those things require some type of competitive response. And we are driven by a common goal. Everyone has individual goals, but this team is very purpose-driven, and they want to win. And I think because of that, we feel confident that their responses in the tough situations will be legitimate ones of a winning football team. Now, that being said, a lot of these guys have played a lot of football, okay? And I think they are surrounded by some very young, talented guys that they haven't flinched out there, And now, going forward, there's only one way to find out how they'll perform out under the lights, is put them out there and let them go play.
Anything else for Coach?
Good.
All right.
Guys, thank you.